It's time to get ready with the warm-up of today, and the warm-up is going to have slow movements. We are going to move in a quality AMRAP fashion for 5 minutes, which is very short rep scheme, but I need every movement to be performed as slow as possible while maintaining proper control. The first movement will be a push-up. So I have Jenny and Mariska here. So they're going to go in their plank. Mariska's going to do these from the knees, Jenny from the full plank. Now the idea is, and I want them to do just 2 reps for camera, is go as slow as they can maintain control of the plank. Now for everybody, this tempo might be completely different. Even on the way up, you're going to keep that slow pace. This tempo will be different for everybody, but you're going to challenge yourself as much as possible for 3 repetitions per round. Solid. Now, a scaling option for this might be going into a regular plank and slowly bringing your hand to touch your hip, which Mariska is going to show you right now. So you're going to make a regular plank, you're going to bring your hand back, you're going to touch your hip or your knee or however long your arm is, that's where you're going to reach for, and you bring it back. If you do this very fast, it's very easy, so we go very slow, and you can always play around with the stance of the feet. If you go more narrow, it's a bit tougher. If you go wider, it is a bit easier. Again, it is 3 reps of the push-up. I want 6 reps of the hip tap. Now, the second movement that we will do today is a couch pistol, where the idea is this. When you lower yourself onto the couch or onto the chair or onto an object that you have behind you, I want you to go as slow and control yourself as much as possible until you completely sit. So no bouncing, no falling onto the object. And when you stand up, you either use 1 leg, or if that's very difficult, you can use 2. Let's have a look at the 2 ladies here. So they both have different objects. 1 leg goes in front, they're going to go control and slow, squeeze whatever they have to sit, and they're going to come back up from there, and then they start on the other leg. Control, control. This is a very good way at home actually to work on your pistol. And a big thing in pistol is actually strength in the end range of motion. So people often lack the strength in that bottom position to support themselves in just 1 leg. Although everybody always relates to mobility, it is often the strength in that range of motion. Now, a scaling option for people with bad knees is actually doing exactly this, because at home you often sit on the couch and stand up. But then what I want you to do is make sure you sit back a bit more. Right, Mariska will show you that. You sit back a bit more, and on the way up you just use 2 legs. So she's going to sit back as much as she can. Maybe she needs a higher object, but she's very good at this. And then with 2 legs she can just stand up, and then she goes to the other one. So you're loading the muscles around the knee as well on the way down, and you come up with 2. You can also support by getting on the toe of the other leg. For the third movement, we're going to need our bottles. So let's grab our bottles. We're going to have the bottles in front of the body. We're going to have slight knee bend. We hinge, upper body parallel to the floor, arms just hang straight down. Then from there, we're going to make a big half circle to shoulder height and come back in. Since everything in this warm-up is slow paced, we're going to hold that end position for a good long 1 second or a quick 2 seconds. So it's either 1 or a quick 2 seconds, which is 1, 2. You guys get the point? If you have an injury, I would still do exactly the same, because I think it's very good for healthy shoulders. Beautiful rear delt shoulder raises with bottles.
Calm your hips.
Rustig, Jenny. Gelijk weer daarmee beginnen. Yeah? Okay, so we showed you the 3 slow movements. Now we're going to actually do them in the warm-up. 5 minutes of a slow motion AMRAP. Let's get ready with these ladies here. You guys at home, listen to me counting you down. We start in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So 3 beautiful, very slow, controlled push-ups. And if you guys are challenging us, the only way to challenge us is by going slower. And if you can go so slow but still move the entire time, you might only do 2 rounds in 5 minutes, and that is all good. We're looking for time and attention here. Then we're going to start with the pistols. They both start on their left leg. They're controlling their way onto the chair, and they either stand up with 1 leg or they stand up with 2 legs. It's a great way of loading that pistol on the way down, getting those muscles nice and strong, and also learning to control and squeeze your hamstrings, your butt, your quads, everything you need here to lowering yourself into that bottom position. And you can actually, over time, lower the object that you have at home and get better at doing pistols. Upon completion of the 6 pistols, you're going to grab your bottles and you go into 9 rear delt races with the bottles, where you hold that top position for just a long second or a quick 2 seconds. Whatever helps for you with counting, and then 9 reps in total. Great way of firing the rear delts. Since we're doing rows again today in a workout, it's a good way of warming up the upper back as well. If you squeeze the shoulder blades in a bit more than just focusing on the rear delts, you get a good back workout right at the start. Good, so they're finishing up with their rear delt raises and going back into their plank for their next set of push-ups in the next round. And they're probably gonna do only one more round. That is all good. Keep moving slow and press pause. Mobility time. We got a longer one today. 12 intervals, 30 seconds of work, 15 seconds of transition time in between. We do 3 intervals on one leg, 3 on the other leg, and then 2 rounds of that in total. On that one leg, we do 3 different stretches, but they're really nice to flow from one end to the other. I'm gonna have Jenny and Mariska starting with the right leg forward and the left leg behind the hip. So in a lunge, I need you guys to start with us right away. I have my interval timer set so you can follow us along. We're gonna start in a classic Samson stretch. What I want Mariska and Jenny to do is already set it up so I can talk everybody into it. In that Samson stretch, we're gonna have our back knee behind the hip, our front knee on the ankle, our arms reached overhead and pressed back. And we're starting in 3, 2, 1. There we go. That means I gotta bring the sound down a bit. So in this stretch, guys, we're try to get that front knee on the ankle and the back knee behind the hip. Good flex, stretch for the hip flexors. We're reaching and pressing the overhead and reaching back at the same time. Perfectly done here. We got 15 more seconds, and then they actually move right into the next one, and you at home can check for 15 seconds what Jenny and Mariska are doing, and then follow us along. We have 3, 2, 1, 15-second break. You're gonna go to the groiner, which means if your right leg's forward, your right elbow is gonna be pressed next to your foot, and they actually are very good at this, both of them. And you guys at home, you start in 3, 2, 1, that's good. Now 30 seconds in this stretch, same, back knee behind the hip. Hips are squared, preferably squared with the shoulders. Right elbow is pressed down next to the foot, and that right knee is not coming in, it is right on top of the ankle there. If your knee is over the ankle, you might feel there's a bit too much in the knee, which is not what we're aiming for. We got 10 more seconds, and then we stay in the lunge, and then we're gonna focus on the ankle. This is good for the groin area. Still the back hip flex, getting some work in. 3, 2, 1. 15 seconds of rest. Jenny and Mariska, I want you to place your foot a bit more towards you, the front foot, and then get your knee pushed over your ankle as much as possible, and place your upper body and elbows on top of that knee. At home, we start in 3, 2, 1. And now we're simply doing this. We're pressing the knee forward as much as possible using the upper body to apply pressure, but we want to make sure that our heel stays connected to the floor, otherwise it doesn't make sense. Like Jenny, you can actually force yourself there by getting your hand to be on your heel and press it down a bit more. So you want to make sure that you don't cheat in the ankle stretch here. You can always force the ankle stretch a bit because ankles might need that if they're not that flexible. 3, 2, 1. We have 15 seconds to switch to the other side, and then we go back to the Samson stretch right away. Start in 10 seconds, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start. Now if you're getting the hang of these 3 stretches, you can eliminate the 15 seconds and use these 15 seconds transition time of just going right into the next one. Now if you see Mariska and Jenny, they both have something soft placed underneath their back knee, because otherwise it hurts the knee a bit too much on the floor here. At home, you guys can definitely do that as well to protect your knees. We got 7 more seconds, then we move back to the groiner stretch. 3, 2, 1. So left leg forward, left elbow comes down next to the foot. Knee is going to be on top of the ankle. We're relaxed down. Some of you might still be very upright and not be able to touch your elbow on the floor. It's about the intention. 3, 2, 1. 30 seconds start right now in the groiner stretch. Insert flute. Classical music. Getting ready for rebound, guys. Big rebound afterwards. Alright, 10 more seconds. And then we finish off with the ankle stretch. 3, 2, 1. So pull your front foot in a bit and make sure you can place your upper body and your elbows on top of the knee. force that heel into the floor, press that knee over the ankle as much as you possibly can. And we actually started in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So we're having 3 different stretches. We have one side, then the other, that's 6 intervals. It is 12 intervals in total. At home, that means you need to do one more round of this after we've done this with you. One more round of everything. It is 10 more seconds. Those are real pigeons. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Continue and press pause. Welcome to band camp. Guys, we're gonna get ready for a 20-minute AMRAP with 3 movements having a band in there and 1 just body weight movement. You guys ready to get into the groove? Let's start a move. Let's have a look at Jenny and Mariska showing us what to do. Yeah, the rounds are thrown, baby. So what we need first is a banded pistol. What we do here is we're gonna have a band wrapped around a pole or a door handle as tight as possible to give you as much support as needed. From there, one leg goes up, you're gonna sit your butt down and you're gonna stand up right away. Don't wait too long. Boom, get out of there. Good. Switch legs, squat down, get out of there. Now let's stand there for a second, ladies. If this is very easy, and we're not gonna show you that, you can do less of the band around the pole, so you have to do more on your own. If it's very hard, just look at Mariska's legs here. She's gonna have one leg pressed forward in front, and then she's gonna squat down. She's gonna stand up. And it's going to switch legs, squat down and stand up, and she has one leg placed in front on the heel. Now, let's say that Mariska has a knee injury, and because of that knee injury, she cannot do the pistols. In that case, she's going to loop the band 1 time, stand on it, get into a stagger stance, so we're still working one side more, and then make a stagger stance deadlift. So slight knee bend in the front leg, hinge from the hip, squeeze your butt on the way up. When you do this, guys, on the way down, think, feel the hemi. On the way up, think, squeeze your butt as hard as you can. Then our second movement right after, we still have the band attached, but now a little bit less tension on there. Now we're going to do alternating band rows. So we're going to have slight knee bend, and we're going to pull one arm back, and then get the other arm in as well. So one at a time, moving the arms through that rowing motion. With the elbows, you want to think down and back. Down and back means you get the lats to work as much as you possibly can on these alternating band rows. Even if you have an injury, you just slow down this movement because you should do it. It's good for a healthy back, and it's just a resistance band, right? Squeeze the lats as hard as you can. Now from there, we're going to detach the band, and we're going to go to our workout spot because we're going to show you 2 more movements, of which the first one is a push-up with band resistance. Now I do need to actually see band resistance. So Mariska is going to do easy band resistance with just 1 loop of the band around her and then being on the knees. And Jenny does whatever feels good for her to do with the band around her body. She has a double. Now in this case, we're going to just lower the body down and then press it up against the band, and that top portion suddenly becomes very, very tough, and you overload the triceps a lot here. Bottom of the push-up easy, top of the push-up a bit harder. You ladies can rest here. That was very good. Now, so you can play around with the tension of the band. I do want to see actually using the band in this one. So don't think, hey, I can still do push-ups without the band. In that case, make the push-up itself easier by getting onto an object or getting onto your knees, but still use the band for overloading the triceps in that lockout position. Now Mariska is going to show you what to do if you cannot make that pressing motion. Then we go all the way back to the warm-up, but then we add the band in there. So she's going to get the band around. She's going to stand in a regular plank here, and she's going to make a hip touch, and she has to pull the band toward the hip. And she's fighting the balance because her legs are pretty narrowly placed there with the feet. The wider the legs, the easier, the more narrow, the harder it is. This is a beautiful scaling option, and it also mimics something that we did in the actual warm-up. Now, for the final movement, you're not going to need a band because it is a mountain climber, but guess what? We changed it up. It is a cross mountain climber. So think about your classic mountain climber, but now when your right knee comes in, it goes all the way next to your left arm, and you're going to make that rotation there. So let's have a look. Ladies, first show me 4 slow repetitions where people can look at the movement. And if you're practicing at home, you can actually see what's happening here. And now they're going to go for regular tempo. Boom. And then you see, it can be a very speedy movement where you can walk, or you can always do the jumping variation, but it's kind of very good for the obliques here, guys. Beautiful cross mountain climbers. Rest, ladies. Heart rate will go up, and it's going to be a long 20 minutes, but it's going to be a good 20 minutes. let's get started. Get off your couch, ditch the chair from the couch pistols, and get ready to work with us here for 20 minutes. It's 12 pistols with the band, 12 rows with the band, and then there's 12 push-ups with band resistance, followed by 36 cross mountain climbers, 20-minute time frame. Let's get to work. Jenny is ready, Mariska is ready, I'm ready. I hope you guys are ready because I'm gonna count you down, and we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, and let's get to action, ladies. So alternating pistol squats using the band, either on a door handle or not. And guys, obviously, if you feel very comfortable with regular pistols, you can ditch the band for this one and just get into your regular pistol motion here. That is good. As long as you keep some pulling on the band, it stays in spot, but it makes it a bit easier because you can have some assistance from the arms in getting yourself up. So you see Jenny has a slight arm bend. She uses her biceps a bit to get herself upwards. Mariska has long arms here because she's a bit more comfortable in the bottom position of the pistol. 12 alternating reps. Then make sure you set your band up properly for the rows, and you start on alternating rows here, using actually both lats, one to stabilize and one to pull. Getting a good upper back pump, just doing just 12 reps it is, which is obviously 6 a side, guys, if you're counting properly. Upon completion of the 12 rows, which doesn't take very long, they go to do the opposite movement, which is going to be a horizontal press, the push-up with resistance. Oh yeah, today is all about band resistance here. So Jenny has the regular band resistance on the push-up, so the band's entirely around the body, she's pressing. Doing a couple of reps, and yeah, she's just taking a break there, then it's all good. But this guy has one side of the band around the upper body and is on the knees, which is very smart scaling here. You guys can always use resistance as long as you scale the push-up properly by going on top of the knees, or use an object to do the push-up against you to use some elevation of the body. Make short sets, allow yourself to take breaks, but upon completion of the 12, you move to the last movement, which is 36 cross mountain climber. Every time you pull in the leg, you count a repetition. You do 18 per leg if you want to count that way. And that'll make a round take probably around 2 minutes. Here we go. Alright, so that was one round. That took almost 2 minutes. Probably they're not going to keep on to this pace because those mountain climbers are very tough. Those pistols are very tough as well. And they're going to take more breaks on the actual push-ups. I'm going to expect 8 to 9 rounds for the real deals here. And most people around 7 to 8 rounds. You guys continue and press pause.